So now let's see our next game. Okay, now this is the second game. E4, E5, knight F3, knight C6, bishop C4, bishop C5, E4. And this is the advanced gambit. Now bishop take B4, C3, bishop E7. The previous game, the player played bishop to A5. Now bishop to E7, more solid. And the standard move to play D4, or we can castle. Okay, D4, knight to A5, attacking this bishop because this is a dangerous bishop attacking the F7 pawn. Okay, bishop to E2, pawn take D4, queen take D4, and this game was played between the ex-world champion Garry Kasparov against also the ex-world champion Vishwanathan Anand in 1995, I think. Knight to F6. Kasparov was playing white. E5, and now attacking the knight. Knight to C6, attacking the queen, of course. Queen to H4. Okay, now we see the pawn attacking the knight, and we have queen and bishop X-ray against our queen. So now knight to D5, and we're attacking the queen. Queen to G3 also. Queen attacking G7 now. G6 protecting the pawn. But in this case, as you notice, these square are weak, and this bishop better to be on G7, not on E7 with this formation, with this pawn formation. The bishop better to be on G7, not on E7. So this is a weakness for black, I think. Now white castles and ready to launch his attack. Knight to b6. Knight to b6. Maybe the black player moves his knight to b6 uh, to allow the pawn to go to d5, maybe to get his bishop out. c4 and c4, attacking the d5 square, and maybe next pushing to c5, attacking the knight, and also opening this diagonal for our bishop. d6, rook to d1. Okay, now of course when you have an open file, you have to put or to take it or to control it with your rook, and especially if you can oppose the opponent's queen. Knight to d7. This knight is moved many times, like 1, 2, 3, and 4. 4 moves in the opening for the knight, and this is a bad sign. Okay, bishop to h6. Wow, now the bishop preventing the black king from castling. Knight take e5, knight take e5, knight take e5, and knight to c3. So now almost all white pieces are developed, and as we notice, only the knight on e5 is developed for black. This bishop is misplaced. The king is in the center, not developed, not developed, not developed. So white controlling the game, and he is in attack against the black king. f6, trying to move the king from the center via like this or this. f7. Okay, now opening the center and exerting pressure against d6. Knight to f7. Okay, the knight now attack the bishop on h6. Okay, take it. If you take it, I'll take here and attack the queen, and the rook attack the queen also. Okay, pawn take d6, and now queen e3, protecting the bishop. Now knight take bishop, queen take bishop, also very important to keep the king in the center. We cannot allow the king to castle and to free his rook Now bishop to f8. Okay, pushing the queen back. Queen to e3, attacking the king. Check. King to f7. Knight to d5. Well, knight to d5, as you can see. Attack here, c7, e7, f6. Bishop to e6, attacking the knight. Knight to f4, attacking the bishop twice with the queen and with the knight, and only the king is defending. Queen to e7, and now the last move in the game, and after that black resign. In view of we can take and play bishop to c4. What to play for black? You cannot move this like if he moves here, you can move here. If he goes here, you can take, take, and this is losing for black. So for that, black resign. Let's see our next game. Okay, now this game is played uh, between the ex-world champion uh, Robert 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 Fischer and Ruben Fine, and it goes like that, like this: e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, bishop c5, b4. Now this is the advanced gambit: bishop take, c3, bishop a5, and d4. He takes d4 and castle. And this is another sacrifice for the pawn. Okay, now black can play bishop b6, so c take d4, and we have our solid center, and we can start attacking from this or this with the knight or knight to g5 and rook to e1, and this is very good setup for white pieces to start with. Okay, or he can play d6, so queen to b3, as we mentioned before, attacking the f7, queen to d7, c take, bishop to b6, bishop to b5, king f8, and d5, knight a5, and this is good for white. Okay, let's go back to the game. Black took on c3, and this is bad because he moves his pawn once, twice, and this is the third time moving the pieces, the same piece in the opening, and this is bad. We cannot move our pieces, our piece like the same piece three times in the opening. We have to develop. Also, his bishop moved to c5, then to b4, then to a5, and his king stuck in the center. Okay, now black, and this is the variation. Maybe black can play to queen f6, e5, queen to g6, knight c3, developing our pieces, of course, knight ge7, and knight, and maybe we can play bishop to a3, attacking the e7 square, or we can play knight to e2, going to f4, attacking the queen. And as we see, all white pieces contribute in the attack, and almost just 2 or 3 pieces from black camp are defending. 2 rooks and a bishop are behind. Okay, back to the game. Black played queen to e7, knight to c3, developing, And now black maybe can take take the bishop, take the knight on c3, queen takes c3 and f6, or knight f6. If he plays knight f6, then bishop to a3 attacking the queen, d6 and e5, knight to e4, queen to b2, knight take e5, knight take e5, queen take e5, and rook e1, and this is winning for white. And now this pin is killing black. Now, instead of knight f6, he plays f6. Bishop also to a3, attacking the queen, d6, bishop d5, attacking the knight, bishop to d7, rook a b1, attacking b7, now castle, and knight d4, exerting pressure against the c6 square. Okay, if queen to b4, bishop take f7 check, king d8. If bishop g5, bishop g8, this is bad because queen take queen take b3, and the attack for white is over, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now maybe he can take back. Now 5, 4, 6. No, this is now he can take this one. This is equal, and this is bad for white. We cannot simplify the game or make simplification before getting a good advantage. So cannot simplify. Bishop check, knight covers, knight d5, attacking the queen and the knight, queen take, a take, bishop to b6, rook fc1, h6, rook take knight, h take bishop, knight take bishop, c take b6, and rook take b6. And this pawn is pinned, and we have a good and excellent game, white almost winning. Okay, back to the game. Knight f6, knight to d5. Remember, guys, how the knight moves: knight to c3, knight to d5, or knight to g5, or bishop to g5, and bishop to a3. Remember these maneuvers because in all games the same maneuvers occurs game after game, and this is the right way to exert the efficient attack and pressure against the black camp. And notice black king is in the center. Okay, now knight d5. If queen take e4, now knight g5, and I don't know what to play now with black. We are attacking the queen, we are attacking f7, and if we move this knight, bishop and queen attacking f7, this knight attacking c7 and attacking f6, all threats. I don't know how black can manage to defend. So knight takes d5 and pawn take d5. Now the pawn, now this file is open, the pawn attacking the knight, and now maybe the rook can go to e1 and attack the queen with the king, pinning the queen to the king. Okay, now if knight d8, Bishop to a3. Remember, guys, bishop to a3. Always bishop to a3, attacking the queen. d6 and queen b5, forking the king and the bishop, and we are material up. Okay, now back to the game. Black played knight e5, knight e5, queen e5. Now just bishop and queen developed. Now all our pieces will attack the black king. Bishop to b2 attacking the queen, queen to g5, and now h4. Notice how if we develop our queen too early, the queen now is a target for the black pieces. Now if queen plays to h6, queen to a3, attacking the bishop and preparing the mate against the king. And if the queen plays to g4, rook check, if king to d8, now queen to e3 with a mating attack, bishop to b4, queen to h6, attacking this, and freeing this square for the bishop to attack the king. Pawn take, bishop check, bishop b7, bishop take with a check, king e8, bishop g5, king f8, bishop h6, check, queen g7, and rook e8, check, king take, and bishop take. And now how to defend against the mate. If black tries to the rook, now check, or to go check. Now bishop take, rook take, and we continue as mentioned before. And this is a checkmate. Like we can where to go with the queen, and we can take on g7, we can go to h7. This is so bad. Queen take h4. This is the variation in the game played. Bishop g7 attacking the rook, rook g8, and rook check, king to g8, queen to g3. Now we must get the black queen away from this diagonal. Queen take and bishop f6, checkmate. And this is the game between the ex-world champion Robert James Fischer against Ruben Fine. And this is our lesson for today about openings, Italian game, the events Gambit variation. Thank you for watching.